Hey, hey, everybody! Happy Wine Wednesday! Hi, Salty Reef. Hi, Tanks and Updates. Got Ray with me already because he's such a loyal companion. Let me know if any audio issues or anything like that. I know Facebook's down, everybody's flipping and tripping, but I figured I'd show up, because I show up. So here we are. Tanks and Updates, glad to hear that your seahorses are doing great. I'm going to real quick check and make sure that we can hear me. Ray, say hello. Loyal companion.
Hello.
Let me know if... All right, let me see if I can hear you say hello. How y'all doing tonight? I got to tell you about this wine, too. And then we can have a quick chat, just see what y'all's doing, and move on about our business. Well, I think you heard Ray. If nobody hears Ray, let me know. I'm going to turn this down. Anyways, Ray, I just wanted to tell everybody. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
So I can see the messages. And tell me again how to get on the YouTube one.
Okay. Well, frankly, I do it on my phone. I just pull it up on my phone. But if you open a different tab on your computer and you mute it,
yeah,
then you can go to YouTube and you'll see that I'm live on YouTube, and you just click it, open it, and then you'll see the comments.
Tab opened up here, and what do I go to?
You got to left click it and mute it, and then you go to YouTube, Seahorse Whisperer on YouTube.
I don't know. Well, this is a Google page. How do I mute it?
Well, go to YouTube first. So in your browser, go to youtube.com. We're having learning time. Just a moment.
Okay, youtube.com.
In fact, I'm going to do it with you because I got to put that link up in case anybody does want to join. Oh, let's see.
Now I type in Wine Wednesday in the search bar.
Let's do it with you. YouTube.com. So you go to youtube.com and search for Seahorse Whisperer. And then it will show you that we are live and doing this explaining live.
So watch free TV show.
Did you find Seahorse Whisperer?
No, I typed in Seahorse Whisperer, and a thing comes up that says Uclips. Watch free shows online TV. Click continue.
Okay, I don't know. What you should see is, I wonder if I can screen share while we're live. Let's see. Let me see, Ray, if I can actually help you out here. All right, so here we go. Can you see this? Can you see on your screen what I'm seeing?
Yeah, but that didn't come up from my YouTube.
Okay, well, when you go to YouTube and you type in Seahorse Whisperer, this should come up. And when you click on just a quick chat, that's where we're live. I'm not sure how else to, show you. But that's how you do it. You got to go to YouTube, Seahorse Whisperer, and then click on it. And then, of course, you have to mute it or it'll echo everywhere. Anyways, really quick. Oh, that's what I was going to do. I'm sorry, guys. I was going to give you guys a link real quick. So I'm going to go into the chat. I'm going to mute my YouTube. And as soon as it opens up, I'll put up a link if anybody wants to join. This is going to be a quickie tonight with Facebook down and everything else. I just thought I'd show up. But, no big topics tonight or anything. Just seeing what you guys are all up to. Feel free to join. Tell me how everything's going for you. And we'll have a quick chat, talk some wine, and then get out of here. But I'm still waiting on it to load. Sorry. Here is a link if you'd like to join.
I screwed up here somewhere.
I know. Well, well, that's not it, is it? Hang on, guys. All right, here we go. Tell you what. Where's my Lucy when I need her? And my kids are coming in at the same time. Yay, us. Yes, I am. So be quiet and don't get on your stuff, please. I can't even delete a dang comment. We're just having all sorts of issues tonight, guys. I'm sorry.
Just so you know, I did get on the YouTube one.
Okay, well that's good. I wish I could figure this stupid stuff out. There we go. That's what I wanted. Alright. Remove that. Okay, that's not the link. Here is the link. Oh, sorry everybody. I'll copy it and paste it. There's the link if anybody wants to join, but like I said, we're just doing a quickie tonight. Just chit-chatting. Ray, how are you? How are you doing?
You talking to me now?
Yeah, how are you? What's up?
Okay. Oh, I was just looking at the message there. It says, what's the difference between barb and erectus in terms of care? I treat them exactly the same.
You treat barbs and erectus the same?
Sure.
Now, wait a minute.
And
oh, barbs and erectus. I thought I saw abdominalis. I'm reading the different comment. But go ahead with what you were saying.
well, the only thing different I do with the abs is the cool.
Right. So the big deal, if the question was the difference if you have abdominalis, the big deal there is that they need much cooler temperatures. How much cooler do you go, Ray?
Well, right now, last week when I looked at the thermometer when we were looking at the tank, the temperature was 64, but I don't let it go over 68.
Yeah, so you're talking about 68 degrees, whereas the typical erectus tank or Barbori tank is going to be 74, 72. What do you usually run yours at? Ray?
Mine's at 74.
74?
I have a heater in there to keep it at 74.
Yeah. So
because my nighttime temperatures are 15 degrees Celsius, the tank gets down too cold, so I have to have a heater in the tank to keep the temperatures up.
Gotcha. I have never used a heater in a seahorse tank, believe it or not. It's just, it's never been a need.
I have to, because what's your temperature at night?
Right. No, I mean, I hear
seahorse.
you. I have some pretty kick butt central air that keeps the house like within degrees no matter what. So because I'm such a priss, I have to be comfortable. I'm with my seahorses. It's got to be the right temperature, you know. But anyways,
Yeah. Well, I'm the same in the summer when I put the air on too.
You
but
what?
At nighttime, I turn the air down so I can sleep better.
Gotcha. Hey, tanks and updates. I saw you joined. Hello. Thank you for muting yourself. If you have a comment or want to say something, feel free. Just make sure to speak up and let us know what you want to say. I know you want to tell us about your seahorses, so feel free if you'd like. Yeah. Okay. So, anyways, hi Annette. Hi Lisa. Hi everybody. Anybody who wants to jump in. Has everybody been freaking out? Ray said he could get on Facebook. I am completely unable to get on Facebook whatsoever. Cannot get on there at all. So
Yeah, I'm on Facebook, but I can't get this the live show.
yeah, see, I mean, if I try to go to Facebook at all, it tells me that it's down. And so, sorry anybody on Facebook. And let's see. Living garage. What's a good warmer water dwelling beginner seahorse? Hi, Annette again. Warmer water dwelling seahorse. Where are you located, living garage? That kind of makes a big difference. I personally always.
What's this interpretation of warmer water?
And what's your Thank you, Ray. And what's your interpretation of warmer water? That definitely depends. Hey, Lucy. I sent you a link, but if you're busy, totally cool. I couldn't announce anything because I couldn't get on Facebook, is what I was just letting everybody know. So I'm kind of just jumping in and saying hey and seeing if anybody was on. But Annette, I'm curious to know what's going on with you. What I'll tell you what's kept me busy lately. Remember a few episodes ago I said my seahorses out of the blue had fry? They have not stopped. And so now I'm back to raising fry again. It's not my cup of tea. So I've been crazy busy. And here, Ray, you wish your guys would breed, right? Or are you over it?
No, I'm at 76. I'm past the stage now.
I hear you. I hear you. What would you do if they did?
Probably try it anyway.
I know, right? I mean, that's exactly where I'm at. Is I'm like, I'd rather just help others with their seahorses, but man, when they have them, you gotta do something. And okay, Living Garage says in the midway of the U.S., my interpretation would be over 70 degrees. Okay, so my website's almost completed and almost finished, and there will be all sorts of articles on there as soon as it's up. But I have written quite a few about, I personally recommend Erectus as a first-time seahorse for beginners in the U.S. That, want something easy, hardy, and in the, they don't need those really, really cool temperatures. And of course, the main thing to stick with is make sure that you always go captive bred. There are some great breeders, Savvy Seahorse, Seahorse Savvy, Seahorse Source. We've got, a bunch of individual breeders if you live in their personal location, like Lucy, Cheryl. You can meet many of them in here. So, but I would personally say Erectus. Some of the other seahorses can just be a little bit more difficult. So I've actually got a scale where I give my personal opinion about where they rank as far as beginner, intermediate, advanced. And sometimes it does really truly depend on where you're from, because in Australia the seahorses that they've spent the most time breeding, captively of course, they've had more successes and more experiences with certain species that are local to that situation. They don't do Erectus. So that's why we asked where you were from. But in the U.S., I would say Erectus. Do you have any thoughts on that, Ray?
Oh, I'm sorry. Didn't catch that. I'm sitting there reading.
I know. It's hard.
Read and follow the talking at the same time.
It's hard. It's really hard. But no, the original question was he's in mid U.S. looking for a good beginner seahorse that doesn't need really low temperatures. The only seahorses that you're going to really find. Go ahead, Dre.
What's more available than the Erectus?
Right, and that's what I was. Go ahead.
Probably not any harder than.
Right, and that's kind of what I was saying is one of the reasons that I think that they are the go-to for a beginner seahorse is because the breeders have so much experience with them and have been working with them so long that we've really kind of nailed down getting really conditioned to an aquarium captive bred seahorses that are ready for aquarium life and used to aquarium life. That goes more into captive breeding, but the bottom line is this species is just very hardy, easy to deal with, easy to work with. My personal opinions is they are the puppy dogs of the seahorse world, begging at the glass for food and dancing for you whenever you come home. So Erectus would be my name. And Lucy, I'm missing all these comments too. I know Ray's trying to read them too. If there's anything that needs to be addressed, please let us know. But Lucy got more fry this morning. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. You are going to need,
That's the only down point of Erectus is they keep on having the damn fry and you can't get caught up.
I know it. And I mean, and they go, mine at least go through seasons, and it can definitely be influenced by things like temperature. This is not for a beginner by all means, but slowing them down can be done via temperature. And if you're a beginner watching this and you don't want the hassle of babies, an easy way out is to buy same-sex seahorses. And of course, that's not always guaranteed either because they can change on you sometimes. But you know that your best bet is to
Well,
go for.
if you buy ones that are definitely males, you're definitely not going to end up with a female.
Well, that's true. There you go. And see, the only reason that a lot of people prefer females though, um, mainly because they avoid any kind of the pouch issues. But now that we've learned so much about if you keep the tank clean, you won't have those issues. I would have to agree with you, Ray, that two males is no big deal. I personally think the males are more social. My males are the ones, and they're the ones that are always greeting me. I've got a couple girls who still are kind of like standoffish to me and don't greet me in the same way. Every
With me, it's the other way around.
For you, it's the other way around.
Every species that I've had, the males were always less visible, or they present themselves less than what the females do.
Now, see, Sean and I, go ahead.
I've had Augustus, the Barbs, Combs, Great Eye. Did I say Erectus already?
I think so.
No, Augustus. No, I can't even keep it straight in my own mind.
You've had a lot.
But I've had about 5 different species at least. And I've never had any species where the females presented themselves more, or the males presented themselves more than the females. It was always the males were the recluse, and the females were sitting there coming to the front all the time.
Now, see, I think this has to do a lot with personality of the individual seahorse, because I got some males that are jerks that will just pick on any other male in the tank, and I've got some males that are just kind of so I think seahorses have their own little personalities, but I also have an ongoing theory. This is not a scientific theory, y'all. This is just my theory. But what my significant other, Sean, if he approaches a tank, the girls come rushing up. And I'm telling you, I don't know if it's the look, the voice, maybe when you speak, I can't even think of the correct term, but the tenor or whatever in the voice. Ray, you're a male. I think that's why. I think the girls like the guys. I do, but I could be wrong. And yes, Lucy, I announced at the very beginning, I don't know what's going on with Facebook, but I personally can't get on. So that's why it's not going to Facebook. It's trying to go to Facebook, but I can't literally get on Facebook at all. So it keeps telling me in my area, I know they were breached today or down today. If anybody knows what's going on with Facebook in general, let me know. I do know they went down. Facebook and Instagram were down. If you're on Twitter at all, you go look at Twitter. They've got a bunch of memes about how many people flocked to Twitter today because Facebook and Instagram was down. It was pretty funny. But bottom line is, in my area, it's still down. I don't know why, but I can't get on there at all. So that's why we're only on YouTube today. That's why we're just going to do a quickie. But I'm trying to read the comments. You're in shock, Annette. All of them. Oh no, what happened to Annette? I do have to go back and read now. Okay. The very beginning. Takes an upstate, says he's getting pot bellies. Yeah, those are the ones that need the cooler temperatures, so be sure you're able to do that. And who jumped in? Who jumped in the stream? Do we know? I don't know. Okay.
All I see is something or the Salty.
Oh, hey, Salty. What's up? Talk if you want. Say hi if you want. And I'm just trying to find out what happened with Annette. Oh, she lost 12. Oh no. Oh, Annette, I'm so sorry. I would love to talk to you on the side. I don't want to make your information public, but I'm so sorry, and I would love to talk to you on the side. And I hope Lucy's helping with the comments. And Salty, welcome. I hope you're doing okay. Love to hear how you're doing. And let's see, I think I covered all the questions. I hope that did answer. I know we kind of jump around a lot in here. Sorry. I hope that did answer the questions about the best seahorse for a beginner living garage. And you currently have a 40-gallon. I typically say the bigger the better, especially as a beginner. So with a 40-gallon tank, I would recommend 2 seahorses, just to be safe. A lot depends on the entire setup. Like, do you have a sump? Is this an all-in-one 40-gallon? Or what kind of 40-gallon are we talking about? But it's the typical recommendation is 1 pair of seahorses per 30 gallons, period. That's the typical recommendation. You can get away with more if you've got a sump on the tank. You can get away with a lot more, as Lucy has shown us many times, if you have experience, but it's not recommended for beginners. So, if that makes sense. And tanks and updates. I'm probably going to the chiller and the sun. Yes, definitely chiller if you're going to have abdominalis. Couldn't agree more. Were you going to say something, Ray? I'm sorry if I interrupted you. No.
Well, when it comes to abs, I don't have a chiller. I just bought a $50 air conditioner and put plastic around an area that the 90-gallon tank is in, and I keep it cool with that 50-gallon or that $50 air conditioner. It was a lot cheaper than buying like a chiller for a 90-gallon tank. Is just ungodly.
Right.
The cost.
I mean, if you're wanting to do abdominalis and don't want to buy the chiller and are able to, Ray actually showed us on last week's Wine Wednesday. So go check it out for sure. He showed us his entire setup and how he's literally sectioned off an area with plastic and used as an air conditioner. It's really cool. I was really impressed. I think that's such a great idea. If I were to ever try the species, I'd probably have to play with something like that because it's so cool. And you said they probably poop more, so you're going to have to stock up on skimmers. What would you say, Ray? Are they bigger poopers?
It's only relative to the size of them. Sure, the size of their excrement is larger than, say, my barbs and larger than a rectus, but still, they're in a larger tank, too, with a lot more water, so it's all relative.
Yeah. It is very difficult to answer these kinds of questions, just randomly, because we would never want to advise you to anything incorrectly. So, like for living garage, if you have if you want to get down into the dirty details, as I said, hopefully that site will be up this week, and also you can always hit us up via Messenger or on Facebook, Seahorse Whisperer or whatever. And Seahorse Sources group is an excellent resource for people like Ray and people like Dan of Seahorse Source, and we're all there helping and answering questions. So Seahorse Source group on Facebook is an excellent resource for these kinds of questions and information. Of course, we'll answer them here too. It's just hard to, because every question leads to another question. You know how that goes. And one of the things I hate the most, and I see happen too often in social media, is someone will ask a question like, which is the best seahorse, and everybody jumps in to answer without figuring out what the goals of the person are, or where they live, or what they're trying to do, or if they have the right equipment. So we tend to ask questions with questions, and so yeah. But anything's welcome, and you can always jump in and show us what you got if you want, and we would be happy to help you figure it out, of course. Oh, and really quick, total side note, but I wanted to tell you guys, I drink wine every week on Wine Wednesday, and I've kind of gotten into the Merlots and the Pinot Noirs, and kind of gotten into the reds. And so I walked into the store the other day, and the person behind the counter said, "You have to try this," and it's called Oliver Blueberry Moscato. And I kind of like Moscato, but I've kind of gotten away from sweet wines just in general. But this blueberry, I'm going to try to show it to y'all. Blueberry Moscato, it's actually pink in the glass, and it's good. If you like sweet. Now, if you like the real deal wines, but if you want a sweet wine with some dessert or just for a little, a cocktail at a party, perfect to sip on. So, thought I'd mention that because I learned something new. I learned I like a few sweet wines too. I'm sweet after all. Go figure. I know everyone's shocked. And let's see, what else? What else do we have to talk about, Ray? Annette, I'm trying to follow the conversations, and I definitely want to. Oh, you were out of town. Yes, the vacationing. Ray, have you ever gone on vacation? What do you do when you leave your seahorses?
I usually have one of the kids around here for a period of time beforehand to show them exactly what to do.
Mm-hmm.
I have everything prepared. I have sheets of paper on every tank, every tub of water, every food container, both freezers where the food is. So I've got so many notes here. They can't do anything without a note to know what to do.
Yeah, I love it.
But I make sure they come in once they figure they know it. I make them come in at least twice and go through the whole routine without me telling them what to do, just so I can see that they do know.
Right. No, and
now, mind you, I pay.
You practice? Is that what you said?
I'm sorry?
You do practice runs, basically?
Yep.
Yep,
That's
me
right.
too.
And then I hope that the kid doesn't get old enough to get a part-time job, so that when school's out, that he's not going to be available because of his part-time job.
Right.
Then I have to go. That happens, and then I go to either a neighbor or if they have a younger brother, then even a younger sister would be okay. But somehow it's never worked out to be any sisters. It's always been brothers.
Gotcha. Hey, I wanted to mention Salty. I see you're in here. Feel free to pipe up if you want to show us anything. I'd love to see what's going on with your tanks, even if they're not seahorse. You know how it goes. I'd love to see them all. And living garage. The type of 40-gallon I have is just the tank. I still need filtration, lighting, and protein skimmer, etc. What equipment would you recommend? Okay, so if you've got the 40-gallon tank, Lucy's already answered. she's beaten me to it. And these will be, like I said, all in the guides that I hope to get finished quickly this week. Now that I got help with the website, and I finally, oh gosh, I'm so close to done, guys. But anyhow, she said, ideally add a sump. I agree with that. No matter what, have a skimmer. Please have a skimmer. It makes a world of difference, mainly because there's lots of benefits to the skimmer, oxygenation and yada yada, but the seahorses just eat more, and the tank becomes dirtier a lot quicker than people realize, and that skimmer makes a world of difference in helping, with many things. Ray, what are you gonna? You look like you want to say something. What do you usually recommend?
I'm just out here. My seahorse alarm just went off. So
now
go ahead.
Go
feed the seahorse.
Feel free. Go feed them.
Be back.
No worries. And Lucy mentioned, Lucy has covered it, as usual. Cheers to Lucy. Lucy said, lighting, you don't really need anything special, depending on what you're putting into the tank with the seahorses. If you're trying to make some with soft coral, you need to worry about the lighting for the soft coral. If you're trying to mix some with macroalgae, worry about the lighting for the macros. That kind of thing. But the seahorses don't particularly need any highlighting. And actually, I had an experience recently where I had someone send a question asking what to do about an algae that was growing on the seahorses. It was like a diatom or something like that. Some sort of, just regular new tank type of algae, and they were wanting to know if they should brush it off or something like that. And the thing is, when you get your lighting too high, that's more likely to happen. But the bottom line is, it is natural. Seahorses will do that. And so if you're not putting algae, I'm getting to my point, if you're not putting algae or coral or anything into the tank, go with the most basic light you can that's not giving any kind of, tremendous light that's going to grow algae faster, because you're dealing with such a so many organics in the tank that if possible, then those microalgae will start to grow, and you'll see them on the seahorse too, and that's not fun. Also, the other thing about a lighting situation is the heat. Any kind of the reef lights or the really strong lights these days have some sort of fanning or some sort of cooling protection and all that. But if you're going with an inexpensive light, make sure it's not putting off any crazy heat, because that's the temperature of a seahorse tank is like one of the most important things. We kind of dabbled talking about that in the beginning, but the bottom line is there are just maximums. Typically, it's okay to go. Let me start over. Temperature is the most important thing. What you really care about is not having a bunch of fluctuations. So you don't want it to go way low, way high, or anything like that. And if you've got a light on all day and that's putting off heat and warming the water, and then at night, say your entire home gets cooler and the light's off, and that would make more fluctuations. So avoiding fluctuations is the biggest deal. And sorry, reading comments. I know it's hard to say living garbage. I was saying garage, wasn't I? Sorry, garbage. Sorry. It's hard to read the notes and stream at the same time. But Salty, I know you're in here. Say hello to me. Say what's going on. Dang it.
I was going to ask what lights you recommend for the macro tank.
For the macro tanks, again, depends on which macros you're keeping. And Lucy, please feel free to back me up or give your opinion in the comments too. But for me, I have tried using reef lighting on my tank that was the really pretty one. What I was using was a fluval freshwater planted light, 24/7 light. So I used plant light, and that worked for quite a while, but I noticed that it would grow the caulerpas and the more simple algae, the more of the sump algae, it would grow them faster. And so I was having to constantly harvest just to keep them off of the more rare type of pretty, macros, blue scroll, let's see, I'm trying to think of some of the names, but so it kind of depends on the type of algae, to be honest, that you're trying to keep. But think of it like this. If you're using algae that are like caulerpas or any of the types that you would put in refugium, then you want to stick with refugium type lighting, which is the freshwater planted, cool, right in the middle, 5,000 K kind of lighting. Whereas if you're doing something else, then you do something else. Over a regular seahorse tank, I have multiple seahorse tanks with no light. Literally no light. And on my piebald tank, with my piebald girls, probably my favorite tank right now, they have a little clip light, just enough so that I can enjoy them and that they get a little light to know, hey, it's morning or whatnot. But I have many tanks that don't even have a light. So I know I kind of went around and round with that, but did that answer the question? Kind of depends. It always depends. That's always the answer. Freshwater plant type light, if you're doing macros and you're using them for nutrient export type situation. Reef lighting, but just not any that would put off a lot of heat if you're going to do coral, or if you're going to do rare deep water macros. And then very, very limited to no lighting if you have just a regular seahorse tank. That's my 2 cents. And if anybody else had comments, please feel free. What do you recommend for light, Ray? Over a seahorse tank?
Just ambient if you don't have anything that needs it.
Yeah. Have you ever done a display tank with macros in the tank? with algae in the tank? You haven't, have you?
I have problems getting mackerel here in Canada.
That's right. Okay. I forgot.
I have some mackerel downstairs, but it's basically in quarantine. I had three types, but two of them died off, so it's down to one type. And then I picked up another piece of another type from another fellow, but the one I want the most is the grape callirpa, and that's one of the two that died off. So
Mm.
I'll have to find out the source.
Well, what
But
light do you have over them?
it's an LED barn light.
Hmm.
I think it's what's I think it's just a 200-watt equivalent.
That might be why. Those types, they like the light. Um, I'm just wondering. I'm not saying for sure. I'm just wondering because it also could be if you've got them in quarantine. Are you sticking, food or something in there so they?
Well, I already found Aptasia, so that
So there's organics. Okay.
it made it worthwhile already.
Jeez. I know that
I don't want
that is the big
to
downfall.
I had Aptasia in one of my reef tanks.
I'm sorry, Ray. Can you repeat
And
that? Can you repeat that? I was talking over you. I'll be quiet. You go ahead.
Yeah, many years ago, I had Aptasia in one of my reef tanks, and it took me a while to get rid of them. It was in a 90-gallon reef, and when you got so much rock in there, it's hard. It was just a case of perseverance. I kept zapping them with hydrochloric acid with a hypodermic needle. But eventually I got them all. And then after that, never had any problem again. Never even saw an Aptasia again other than LFS or this one that I just found now in the mackerel.
Mm-hmm.
So I can do without them, thanks.
Right. I mean, that is one of the downfalls to adding anything, really, to a seahorse tank. Lucy's in the comments, and I'm reading the comments, and I do agree with Lucy that adding macros to a seahorse tank is an excellent way to help filter the water. If you're worried about Aptasia and such, what Ray was just discussing is actually quarantining the macro before you put it in the tank. And he's already seen Aptasia. So in that kind of situation, you can try to remove them, remove maybe what they're on, maybe separate the parts that don't have Aptasia sprouting out and put them in a different quarantine because you really, you don't want to get Aptasia into a seahorse tank. It's very easy to do, and as long as it's not a god-awful problem, then, I'm not going to say much about it, but it's become a god-awful problem for me before, and Ray too. So, I personally quarantine macros also, just because of previous experiences where Aptasia took over. So there's pros and cons to everything, of course. And another thing is using the types of algae that you can put into a refugium. I really like that method because then you're double benefiting, meaning you're getting that filtering from the algae, and you can also put it on a reverse light cycle. Remember when I said something about the temperature and the pH and all that? Stability is key, making sure that there's not big fluctuations of anything. Stability is key. Well, that reverse light cycle makes sure that the pH and the temperature, while one thing's photosynthesizing, the other one's not. I've got a big long video about it. I won't ramble, but it's just double whammy benefits. So I like the refugium in the sump with the macros in the sump, but I also love a beautiful macro display tank. It's just a little bit different. Still lots of benefits that Lucy's going over in the comments, doing an excellent job describing, so I won't repeat everything she's saying, but Lucy's saying, I'll say a couple things. She's saying, depending on the budget, freshwater 65K fixture, right. She's suggesting the types of algae that she uses. Lucy, it's killing my brain right now. What's the name of red grape? It's like Botocryladia or something like that. I can never remember the exact names. I'm terrible with pronunciations. But when you're talking about like the red grape, the green grape, the caleras, the trying to think of anything else like that. Anything that's green and or grows fast is going to do better with that freshwater lighting. Like I said, my first one was amazing and beautiful, and I had a freshwater planted light on it. Those do well in any kind of lighting. I agree with that, but they're going to grow faster and do more of what you want under freshwater planted lighting. There's Dan. Hey, Dan. What's up?
Hello.
How are you?
I'm tired. You?
You sound tired. Me too. Have you had problems with Facebook today?
Facebook has got major problems today.
Yeah. That's Ray tried it, and Ray had me thinking I had lost my mind. He said it's fine where he's at. He's in Canada though. So, but
Well, I don't think it's everywhere, but let's see. Somewhere I got a message on my phone.
It was slow earlier today, but things would go through. I put a post on my page, and I think it took about an hour for it to go through. But at this point in time, it's working just fine.
Apparently, Facebook and Instagram are having technical issues.
It's the Russians.
I don't know how much it was on the news, so it was big enough that it made the headline in the news.
yeah, I literally a couple of people were trying to say if anybody I think Salty was just showing a tank. If you are, please let me know so I can display you in the background. But I'll leave, I think I've said it now just to kind of jump between us. But if you're displaying something, please let me know so I can put it up. And okay, Living Garage, it was thanks for joining and asking questions. We love that. And if you need clarification on any of the answers, just hit us up afterwards. And ask on the comments, and after the video goes out too, that's fine too. And yeah, Sean was trying to tell me that they got breached or something. That I don't know. I don't get into all the news stuff. I literally didn't know that Facebook was down until I went to try to send Ray a theme for tonight, and it wouldn't let me on, and I was like, what? So, but anyways, it's still down here. I'm not able to get to Facebook, get on Facebook, stream to Facebook. So maybe it'll show up later. I don't know. But we were just doing a quick Wine Wednesday chit chat, kind of catching up, seeing where everybody's at, because I know I've been scarce. I've been desperately trying to finish this website and get it done. So, and I've got a really exciting Women in Reefing series coming up that I'm not going to even tell you any more about. It's just going to be very cool. So it's coming. So I've just been working on stuff, guys. I didn't disappear on you. Sorry. But Dan, what have you been up to? What's going on with you?
A little bit of work and a little bit more work, and that's about it.
Yeah. That's no fun.
Fun? What's fun?
Right. I kind of feel the same way. I hear you. And anything new in Seahorse World at Seahorse Source? I was just recommending the group earlier to someone who was asking questions. Is anything new though? Anything we should know?
No, not really. Trying to slowly get things back up to speed again.
Gotcha. Are the CUDA still doing amazing?
Yeah, the CUDA, it's almost like I can't screw up with them at the moment.
Well, I think I'm going to need another few CUDA just to, because it sounds like they're doing so well. I want to see these guys. And
go
ahead.
I'm very surprised because normally it's like pulling eye teeth trying to raise the bloody things, and I'm actually having higher percentage numbers with them than Erectus right now.
And see, we had one of the original questions tonight was suggestions for a beginner seahorse for someone who's not kept them before. And of course, I always go to Erectus, and I was actually talking about the fact that it's because breeders have been working with them so long. Well, I'm sorry. At first, we asked where he was from because that matters. But then of course, jumped to Erectus. But it really kind of does depend on the seahorses, the quality of the seahorses at the time, and just what's going on. So that it's really fascinating that you, of all people, are saying that right now for you the CUDA are doing better. I just think that's awesome. So
Well, I don't know what happened because I've had multiple batches of CUDA with no success. In this last three batches, it's I don't know. I haven't been doing everything by the same protocol, and it was just kind of haphazard, and because I wasn't feeling well, and the bloody things just took off.
well, I think I told you in private. It makes me wonder if they don't just prefer different water chemistry or what I don't want to say dirtier water, but it might mean that at least that particular batch, maybe not the particular species, but the particular batch that you have would be very good for new aquarists, for new hobbyists that want to keep them because they're hardy. So,
Well, the other thing about Erectus that makes them appealing to most people is the fact that they are pigs.
right.
They're easy to feed, where reed-eye can sometimes be a bit of a pain in the butt at times. They can be finicky in terms of eating, and CUDA less so, but they're not as I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. They appear to be not as durable as the Erectus because they're a thinner, more slender animal.
Do they literally eat less, or do you mean they're more finicky?
You mean the reed-eye?
No, I mean the CUDA.
Oh, I don't know if the CUDA eat less. It appears that every batch is a little bit different, and
Sure.
and the different CUDAs can be different. The Tanoropters, for example, they're pretty much gluttons, just like the Erectus are, and they're also a very big seahorse.
Okay.
Some of the CUDA species, the smaller CUDAs, seem to be not quite as they don't eat near as much. So sometimes it's not really that they're picky; it's just they don't eat as much.
Okay, yeah, the ones that I got, they're picky. I would have to say that. So that's why I'm curious. Is this a new species then that you have now, right now?
No, it's not a new species, but it's the CUDA from Indonesia.
Okay.
So I don't know where the broodstock originated from, but these guys aren't as as large as some of the other CUDAs I have. The Halonis are a much bigger animal. The Tanoropterus are the largest of them all. The Tanoropterus get upwards of 10 or more inches.
Jeez.
These guys seem to be more in the 5 to 6, maybe 7-inch range, full grown.
And so are both species for sale right now, or one you're still working on?
The Erectus are for sale, and I'm raising some CUDA, but I'm going to have some more CUDA from Indonesia coming in, and those will be available at about middle to the latter part of the month.
Okay. All right. And I'm sorry, I get confused here. So the CUDA from Indonesia are the which one?
The ones that I'm actually raising right now.
I know what was the name or the.
They don't have a specific name for them.
Okay. And then I guess I was just asking because when you do sell them, and I know that you have an excellent way of actually speaking with people before you make the sale, but when you do sell them, do you recommend different? The person asking about the beginner species was asking what equipment was recommended and if a tank was big enough and things like that. Do you give different recommendations based on how big they get and things like that?
No, not really. My general rule of thumb is when people are asking about tankage is 25 to 30 gallons per pair.
Right. Well, that's what I said. Mm-hmm.
And, in some cases, people do go higher stocking densities successfully, but those are typically the people that are nonstop messing with their tanks.
Yeah.
And, each person has to make their own decision, but as the seahorses become full adults, you're going to want to thin them out anyway. And I think that's a much better stocking density for long-term success.
Sure. Sure.
While you're on here, Dan, I got a request from Seahorse Canada. They're looking to see if I had or if I knew where he could get some more stock to expand the gene pool. I don't think he's expanded it all since he they bought 6 of the directives that I imported from Seahorse Corral years ago, and I don't think they've added anything to their selection since then. And he's starting to have some problems now. So I told him I wasn't sure, but maybe Alyssa would be have a the CITES paperwork to be able to ship out the country, but I didn't know for sure.
Well,
Once he shipped out,
I owe him an email. He emailed me, and I got sidetracked, and I haven't answered it yet. But my suggestion is going to be to him. I'm going to give him the contact information of a collector, and
Yeah.
I think that's the way he should go. Number one, it's going to be easier for the collector to export them to him than a captive breeder, and I think he needs to start with fresh blood.
yeah, well, definitely, because I don't even know how long the stuff that how many stages down it was when I got it from Seahorse Corral.
I don't know. I don't know which batch she shipped out. I used to sell her some batches that she used to export, and I never knew what went where.
Yeah.
But her demand was high enough that she couldn't produce. Yeah, we should have 100 going out. Sometimes she wouldn't have 100. So sometimes I would, help backfill the orders, but I don't think she was really doing much in the way of inbreeding. So, but I don't know what he's done up there.
Well, I think he's stuck with the original 6 plus offspring, and just continued breeding them on. So he was bound to run into trouble at some point.
Not necessarily, but if you don't manage it correctly, you can. With 6 pairs, you can take different broods, and that they're all going to be related. But
it was just 6. Just 6 seahorses.
Right, but you don't have to breed brother and sister that way. You can breed cousins.
Yeah, well, we had no way to know because they came in bags with, I can't even remember how many to a bag. There was probably at least 4 to a bag when I got them, but we had no way to know whether the ones that he got, whether they were from different bloodlines or whether they're all from the same one.
I would suspect if they were different bloodlines, there wasn't many, and most of them were probably brothers and sisters to start with.
Yeah. Anyway, that's the only thing I could suggest to him. So if you can get him that information, then he'd probably really appreciate it.
Yeah, I think he will do much better getting, I say much better. If he gets some healthy ones and can handle dealing with wild caught, he will do much better going that route.
Yeah. Okay, thanks anyway.
I'm just listening. Sorry. Listening to it all.
We've got a time in now. I haven't got anything more to add.
You're good. You're good.
Oh, Kelly, did you get the emails I sent?
I have not, to be completely honest. What did you send? Do you want to tell me what you sent?
I sent you a copy of that PDF that I downloaded off of the Facebook page for the scrubber.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And then I did one about my own. We looked at it on the site here last week at my own, but then I threw together some pictures and description of how I did it, because it is I didn't stick to the script of the thing that I downloaded. I just wanted to use up things that I already had.
Sure.
And,
DIY
so
is the best.
But anyway, that's sent on too.
Okay, I will find it. To be completely honest, that's another thing I did just want to publicly say, guys, is that I finally handed over my phone to Sean because I was going absolutely crazy because with the Seahorse Whisperer Society and with family stuff and with, the multiple social medias and then the multiple, personal life stuff, my phone was dinging, dinging, dinging all the dang time. And for some reason, I had set it up incorrectly where, like, anytime anybody posted anything on Facebook, it would ding me that it was on Facebook and then ding me from my email, and it was a mess. So I couldn't keep up with anything, but he's fixed it. So I will be going to check my emails now. So, Ray, I'll find it, and I will make sure that it's up on the website, too. So, thank you.
Well, you don't have to put it up on the website, but
Well, I will.
it's so frustrating when I wanted to find out who it was that posted that
Yeah.
original thing. I couldn't go back and find it. I'm not up on this Facebook thing to be able to know how to find things that are in the past.
Right. I hear you. Well, I mean, I'll look at it and do what I can with it. How's that?
It was either on Dan's site or it was on the British one, the Seahorse getting made fun or something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It was
Yep.
on one of those two.
Okay. Well, I will definitely go to the email and find it. Let's see. I'm just kind of reading the comments. Salty's got to wait till the basement project's finished. I wanted to say living garbage. that bothers me to say that too. But if you're still in here, the group that I was recommending you join, Seahorse Sources group, Dan, who joined in this conversation now, is actually the admin, and he is a breeder of the not only admin of the group, but the Soul Now breeder at Seahorse Source. So he's an excellent person to ask those questions if you're still in here, but you guys are busy talking about discus. So, but if you had any more questions, jump him now because I probably won't go much longer. Just wanted to kind of get together with you guys and chat and see how everybody's doing. Lucy's showing off with her specific names. Shh. No, Salty, you're fine. Everything's fine. And I'm definitely curious to hear and see what anybody else is doing. So yeah, feel free. Anything else going on? Anybody? What's going on? I hear somebody sipping.
Well, I'm very happy that it's daylight savings time has finally kicked in.
Yeah,
Now-
I'm happy about that too.
I wasn't happy the day
I-
it kicked in because I lost an hour. Go ahead, Dan. Go ahead, Ray.
Well,
I want it year round.
Why do we do that? I seriously don't know.
Because somebody's stupid and politicians are worse.
Okay.
well, the argument that comes up is that the kids in the morning catching buses.
I've never.
And, you know, it also matters where you are. You know, it's such a contrast for me down here versus when I was in New England. You know, in middle of June when you have the longest days, it's dark at 9 o'clock down here on daylight savings time, and it's daylight about 6 a.m. In New England, on the other hand, it was daylight about 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, and didn't get dark until almost 10 o'clock at night.
Right.
Winters are the opposite. Up there by 4 o'clock, 4:30 in the afternoon, it was dark.
Jeez. Yeah, I don't know. So how did
The
that? I
reason
mean,
I liked it is there was more daylight hours when I came home from work and had work to do in the yard or whatever to give me more time to do it.
yeah.
Wintertime here gets dark at 5 o'clock under standard time. But right now we're on daylight savings and still relatively light. It's around 8:30. That's Eastern Standard Time or Eastern Daylight Time. So I like to have the daylight at night rather than in the morning.
Yeah, me too.
Hell, when I was in school, we didn't have school buses. We walked.
Yeah,
Please.
we did uphill both ways.
It
Here we
wasn't
go
until
with the I walked 20 miles in the snow story. Okay.
well, that,
Cut it
we never
off.
had a snow.
Barefooted and uphill both ways.
Right.
Well,
Actually,
it was
sad
only a
enough, I
matter
feel
of
like telling those stories myself. Go ahead, Ray.
it was only a matter of a mile to get to the public school, but it was over 6 miles to get to the high school. And because I was stupid and flunked a year, I had to spend an extra year in high school.
Now, see, what I was gonna say is it's the exact opposite now. But I feel like I have my own stories about how when we used to have to ride the bus to school and we didn't get cars until we were this, until we earned our cars, and we didn't do this because kids these days, my God, my 12-year-olds want to take off and walk everywhere. And I'm like, no, you can't. They think they're ready to go 21. Where's my car at 13? Oh my gosh, it's just insane. So I hear you guys, but the snow stories have turned into, please stay home. Let me take you, please. So, I don't know.
Well, down here it's a whole lot different. I mean, we didn't have to deal with the snow and all that crap. The only thing we had to deal with was thunderstorms.
Yeah, well, I don't care
And
what's
it's
going
like-
on outside. I'm dealing with little girls who think that they're adults and want to take off and would love to walk to school every day, and God knows what trouble they'd get into. So it's just a different life these days. But anyways, totally rambling. I don't know.
Well, I complain all the time about weather here, but when I look around and see what happens around the world, especially just even down in the States there, never had a hurricane. We've had some remnant storms that are remnants of hurricanes that have hit the U.S. Never had a tornado come within 20 miles of London. We've had them just outside of London, maybe 3 times in my lifetime. So that's 3 times in 76 years. So that's not much to worry about. But I still would like to have warmer weather so I can do my veggie gardening and so on for a greater period of the year.
I have major goals to move to somewhere, like Florida or somewhere where there's not all this cold weather. I absolutely hate it. And then, we were discussing earlier, the heat here, I don't know if it's just where I'm at, but the heat is it makes you just not feel good all the time. And it's from the heat, from the furnaces and stuff. Oh, I'm over the cold. But yeah, we totally got sidetracked here. Sorry.
Hurricane.
What?
I wouldn't trade it for hurricanes.
That's true. I mean, that's true. There's problems everywhere. I get it. In fact, Dan, when does hurricane season start?
It starts in June, but if I didn't have the fish, hurricanes would be no big deal to me.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, the houses are built for it. There's proper precautions to take, and if you have a generator, you've got a week or so without power in most cases. But that's if you get a direct hit. I grew up down here and never saw a hurricane, and I went. The first hurricane I saw was in Charleston, and then one in New England. Actually, we had 2 in New England, and then when I moved back to Florida, we had a rash of them. But Florida gets hit with a lot of hurricanes, but Florida is a very big state and very long, and there's many parts of Florida that get hit with hurricanes that don't affect us. Mm-hmm. By the same token, you have to keep your eye on the Caribbean the whole season to make sure that you're prepared.
No, that'd be scary. That'd be.
But at least you get warning. I mean, Christ, in California, you don't get warning when somebody puts a quarter in the bed and it starts shaking like crazy. And
right.
The warning they get in Oklahoma for tornadoes is the sirens duck.
Ugh.
It's I've been through earthquakes before. The hurricane, you know what's coming and how bad it's going to be before it gets there.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, and you, I know, last year did a lot of things to help others by sharing your precautions, which was really cool. And they've actually done talks like that. I think it was Julian Sprung did a talk about preparing when you do have fish for those types of disasters. He talked about that at MACNA. So, you know,
Yep.
it's a big deal.
Well, you know, Cat 1, Cat 2, for us, we're not even concerned. You know, tropical storm, I don't put up shutters or anything. I just make sure the generator's ready.
Mm-hmm.
But a Cat 1, I don't expect much damage. Cat 2, you're going to have minor damage or some damage. And when you start getting into Cat 3, now you're expecting damage. And a lot of people will evacuate with Cat 4, Cat 5. Cat 5, it's duck. That's bad.
Oh,
I mean, it can level sturdy buildings that, but you know, the statistics of how often there's a Cat 5 is pretty darn low.
yeah.
You got to, I think it's more dangerous driving a car than it is living in Florida in terms of worrying about hurricanes.
Right. I mean, yeah, there's dangers everywhere, really. I don't know how we got so sidetracked either, but it's all good. It's Wine Wednesday, you know. Anything else besides the weather?
Well, I think I'm going to check out now.
Okay, Ray, we're probably all going to check out here in a minute.
Hockey game.
All right, go. Who do you want to win?
Right. Well, I always want Toronto to win, but that doesn't happen often enough. They would love to be Stanley Cup contenders, but right now it's just in their dreams.
Well, I'm going to wish them luck. And I want to say thank you so much for coming every week and hanging out with me. And so,
Okay.
yeah, thank you. I'll check the email.
See you next week.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, and yes, and he'll see this later, and for anybody watching, we do have some guests lined up, but I'll make sure to let you know when there's going to be a guest, so that if it's a topic you don't want to hear about or come in and, share about, then I'll make sure you know about it in advance. If you don't hear anything, then that means we're just going to chat. But, anyhow, Dan, anything else you got going on? I really appreciate that you were able to come join me. I feel bad that we didn't have some big discussion today.
No big deal here. No, there's nothing really. Kind of boring, actually.
I know.
And when I say boring, I mean being down here.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and close it up for today. But I hope, Living Garbage, that we gave you some answers, and definitely go join that group. Come back next week. If you ever want to join into the stream and show us what you're working with, or anybody ever wants to show us the tanks that they have or have a problem, that's what we're here for. Sometimes we come and we just chit chat about the weather or about wine or about whatever, but we're here every Wednesday so that you guys can come and ask questions or show us problems you're having. That's the whole point to it, aside from, when I have a guest speaker on. So always feel free to jump in when I post that link up and share away. Reef tank, seahorse, whatever you got. We want to hear it. So I will bid you adieu for this week and see you all next week on Wine Wednesday. Dan, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye, Salty. Happy Wine Wednesday, everybody. Sorry, go ahead, Salty.
I was just saying bye to everybody.
Okay, sorry, Salty. All right. Happy Wine Wednesday, you guys. Bye.